When you go on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare subreddit, you'll find that it's home to the most putrid, disgusting, and absolute most annoying players out there. The ones that love to complain and moan about virtually everything in the game, whether it's the tactics that win the game, or guns that they've been killed by one too many times. These players love to draw little ethical lines in the sand where they'll bitch at you for using the shotgun with Dragon's Breath, but they'll have no problem using a shotgun that has the kill range of a fucking sniper rifle. They'll cry about being outgunned by the M4A1, but they'll have no problem using the zero recoil growl, because it's all fine and dandy, right? Oh, you beat a trained special forces operator who had a gun in his hands with a pair of sticks? Oh, you're a bitch who can't use a real gun. Like, what is a real gun anyway? Have I been using fucking Nerf foam bullets on my M4A1 or some shit? I had someone on Reddit who takes Call of Duty very seriously argue with me very passionately about how camping is a weak strategy, how holding vital lanes and routes in a map is for cowards, that camping is a reflection of someone's personality of their actions in real life. Like he expects you to be out in the fucking open with your back turned to shooting into the air and giving yourself away on the radar or something so you can give him that free kill. Let me tell you two things, you dork. And I extend this to the rest of Reddit. Number one, if it's in the game, it's fair game. If the developers didn't want me using it, it shouldn't be in the game. You shouldn't let anyone, be it on Reddit or in-game, bully you out of using what you want, because anyone worth their salt will know how to counter it. Number two, I bought the fucking game, therefore I play how I want, and that extends right back to you. You play the game how you want, and I play the game how I want. That's exactly the freedom of choice you're entitled to when you buy the game. If I want to drop into Warzone and purposely kill myself so I can fight in the Gulag to eliminate the other dude out of the Battle Royale game, disconnect, and redo it again, you bet that I'll do it because I can. There's no rule on saying if you should or shouldn't do anything that isn't possible within the confines of the game design. But no, you people are not happy with anything ever, and you will never be happy with how other people play the game regardless of our freedoms. Therefore, I'm going to introduce my Call of Duty playbook on how to best cause pain and misery in your games. While other YouTubers teach you how to better play Call of Duty, I'm going to teach you how to be an absolute shithead. For those that have followed me since the very beginning, none of this is a surprise to you. But for those tuning in for the first time, my name is Kapt'n Krunch, and I love causing as much chaos as possible. Let's get started. Noob Tubing is a lost art, and I'm a fucking artist. It's one of those classic forms of Call of Duty salt mining. Just seeing that trail of the 40mm fly through the air, impact and watch someone fly through the air is one of the funniest sights, at least in my opinion. In Modern Warfare 2019, it's said that Noob Tubing has been nerfed, but I believe it's been buffed actually, because guess what? Thanks to the gunsmith system, you can have 2 grenade launchers with different types of projectiles. By default, you'll only spawn in with 1 projectile in the chamber, but with fully loaded perk, you obtain 1 extra on reserve. If you use overkill with a different weapon, but with the same type of projectile, you won't obtain an extra projectile. However, say you use 1 gun with regular explosives and another with, say, thermite rounds, you'll have 4 projectiles in total, 2 for each noob tube. Couple that with your existing lethals or tacticals, you'll have 6 to 7 tacticals in total. It's terrible because if you're like me, you'll use 1 gun for flashbang projectiles and the other gun for stun projectiles, and have a choice of either stun or flashbang grenades on the side. Your class is basically a sensory deprivation machine, and as you can tell by the background video, it's highly effective, and you bet it pisses people off. Now, Dragon's Breath, since it was added to the game, has been the subject to a debate amongst tryhards whether it's overpowered or not. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. It lowers the damage of the shotgun, and all it does is add damage over time, which lasts for like a second and doesn't do much. It's honestly like using tracer rounds that sends people flying and roast bodies to a crisp. In fact, at the range the Dragon's Breath damages you with the afterburn, and in rare cases kills you, the normal shotgun pellets just straight up kill you. However, people don't care, because people are stupid and they assume fire equals bad and overpowered. I run Dragon's Breath purely to piss people off rather than for actual use. I kit out the 2 shotguns for different uses. This is how I set up my Model 680. You know, copy it. Take pictures. It's okay. You have my consent. And this is how I set up my VLK. You know, go ahead. You can stare. It's okay. You can stare. Remember, Model 680 for longer range when you have to take down a single man and just have that high DPS for range, and VLK for shorter, more aggressive ranges. The DPS in tight spaces is absolutely terrifying. Cali sticks, oh man. In many ways, this is absolutely superior to the knife and the dual kodachis that they recently added. Let's see, you got the best lunge range, which is basically Modern Warfare 2 Commando Pro levels of lunge distance, the insanely fast swing speeds that negates the 2-hit kill damage, and the sprinting speed, and the fact that the first impact causes really harsh aim punch, which is when you take damage, your aim flinches off target for a second. These things absolutely tear through groups in normal multiplayer, and in Warzone, they're really good for quickly dispatching a group of people. However, the tracking will have you lunge at down players instead of players still trying to put holes in your body. In Warzone, I run this as a secondary to whatever I may be using in my appropriately titled Warzone Terrorism class. For whatever reason, these sticks cause so much pain and misery amongst the most try-hard players out there. Their ego cannot fathom the fact that their sweaty 725 MP5 combo loadout couldn't beat a pair of sticks. They just couldn't react and shoot fast enough to kill you with their actual firearm while you have sticks. And somehow, that's entirely your fault. As if Claymores didn't cause enough misery, I would like to introduce this tactic with a question. How safe do you think EOD perk is? Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. Think about it for a minute. Do you have your answer? Guess what? It's not fucking safe. Yeah, EOD may protect you from a single claymore, a single grenade, or some splash damage from a stray rocket shot, but guess what? It will not, and I repeat, it will never protect against double claymores or direct impacts from underbarrel grenades or rockets. Basically, all you have to do is set down 2 claymores facing the same direction, shove a rocket down a dude's throat, or send him flying with a direct contact noob tube, and EOD becomes fucking useless. Oh, you're gonna run spotter? That's fucking cool. That's why I introduced the noob tubes first on the list, because I can just hit you again. And to top it off, the Strela-Ps is built like a rocket sniper. The projectile speed is so fast, you almost think it's hit scan, and a direct hit from that will send a dude flying across the street like a trash bag in the wind. So beautiful. So yeah, good luck dodging that. This is how I built my class. I call this anti-EOD. I would also call it anti-spotter too, but there's a character limit and I can't do that. Oh man, this is funny. You ever wanted to play gunfight, but you don't want to play with a random or that one friend who takes gunfight like an MLG tournament? I got something for you. In Battle Royale, when you die for the first time, you get put in the Gulag, which is a 1v1 scenario in which you fight to redeploy back into the game. If you lose, it's on to the next game. However, if you just want to eliminate some poor sucker from his Warzone game just for shits and giggles, all you have to do is skydive straight into the fucking ground where you drop in from the plane. You'll 1v1 those that are killed very early into the game. Maybe they didn't find a gun in time, or they probably misjudged the height in which they can cut their chute safely. Who cares? The point is, you're in the Gulag. They're in the Gulag. The only thing that's different between you and him is that you embrace the Gulag. You run the Gulag. You're the Gulag Guardian. That dude is fighting for his life, fighting to secure the dub, and you're there to fuck his day up. He's a peasant, an inferior being, an invasive species, and he must be eradicated. Jesus Christ, I sound like a specific someone. I'm not sure how I'm gonna end this without being awkward about it. Cut to the last. I swear, I have helicopters in Warzone down to a fucking art at this point. Fasten your seatbelts because I'm about to explain some shit to you. Scattered throughout the map are helicopters. Memorize the spawns to them because they're actually important. People use these helicopters to get from one place to another with as little resistance as possible. It's one of those more safer routes to travel across the war zone. However, what if I told you that helicopters aren't just transport vehicles, but they're weapons of mass destruction, or more accurately, weapons of mass salt mining? When someone comes in contact with either the main rotor or the tail rotor blades, they are instantly killed or downed. Depending if you have a team or not, the main body of the chopper can also be used to roadkill enemies by either landing on them or shoving the entire body up their ass. My routine is to drop either hospital or bank and nab the chopper off the helipad and clear out the neighboring buildings. Hospital, for example, has this tower right next to the helipad that a lot of people drop on. These people will be distracted with trying to kill each other, while you swoop right in and start chopping people up with the blades and crushing them with the body. It's basically free kills, and I love free kills. Now, there's two counters to this. Number one, that one asshat with a Pila or Joker locks onto you from an entire country away and blows you out of the air. Catches you at the right moment where you're out of flares because you either use them on another asshat with a Pila or Joker, or you pop them too early. Number two, that one dude who's observant enough catches you with your pants down. You know, catches you when you're getting a little too greedy with your chopper kills, you know, and bam! C4 thrown into the air and into the depths of hell you fucking go. You may think that's the end of your chopper spree, but fear not. I have two counters to the counter, and the second counter is possibly the most rat move of all. Oh, General Sam, you would be proud. The counter for the Pila and Joker is actually pretty simple if you played Ace Combat, and there's two ways to do this. Once you get the missile incoming indicator, listen for the rocket. Once you start hearing the faint sounds of a rocket about to blow your shit up, pop flares. Now, if you can't hear the missile incoming because you got loud-ass teammates or you're out of flares, fly downward in a circle at the same time. Don't fly upward because you're giving the rocket more distance to readjust itself mid-flight to blow you up. But if you fly low and in a circle at the same time, the rocket will overshoot you and you'll feel like a total badass doing it. Finally, to counter the C4, use a trophy system. Easy. Just kidding, you can do that, or you can be like me and counter it this way, which is a whole other tactic of its own, and the real final tactic on how to be the biggest rat bastard of them all. Parachute spawn camping. I know killing parachuters is listed somewhere in the Geneva Convention as a war crime, and I think that's badass because we can finally commit other war crimes in Modern Warfare other than dumping white phosphorus, you know? Now, parachute camping comes in one form already, which is posting up on the downtown apartment buildings closest to the canal to catch people who died anywhere near the bank or news building by gunning them down with an LMG. See, you do that if you're like my friend Caesar or Artie, but if you're like me, you do it in the harshest way possible. You guessed it, with a helicopter. Now, the idea is that although you can cut your chute and use your weapons while skydiving, you cannot use your tacticals. Therefore, fresh spawns cannot throw C4. And when fresh spawns cannot throw C4, cannot get taken out of the air easily. Now you're thinking, oh great and wise Kapt'n, but the parachute spawns are so far in between, you'd be lucky to catch anyone parachuting in a single game of Plunder or Warzone. And here I'm telling you, oh sweet child, I hope you don't die anywhere near Stadium or downtown. Because as it turns out, especially in this season, Stadium got a big update and now there's a condensed portion of the map where people spawn after they die near the stadium in Plunder. There's actually about 3 to 4 spawn points in this fine little condensed area that all face the same direction. I call this area the Hall of Meat, because all you have to do is circle around in your chopper like a bird stalking its prey, just waiting for that right moment where a bunch of teams just spawn in their parachutes after getting ass blasted by some team camping the bleachers in the stadium, and you fly in for the kill. They have nowhere to go but down. Most people don't expect it, and even if they do expect it, some people just freeze up and have an absolute brain fart, like a fucking deer in headlights just waiting for the inevitable. There's a beauty in that. A sick, twisted, demented type of beauty, that is.
Dude, those...
As a wise man once said, if you find yourself in a fair fight, your tactics blow hard ass. Sun Tzu or someone said that. Whoever said that was definitely a parachute camper. Other than that, my point is that no matter how much people will bitch and moan on places like Reddit and complain to the developers via Twitter or in their little echo chambers about how people like me are ruining the game and how our tactics should be nerfed and how we're all scum and all that, and let me tell you the absolute truth. People like me are just gonna find something else to use in order to cause chaos and discontent. Because these people will always give us what we want, which is content. Content that involves people screaming curses and slurs at me over Rage Mic and calling me a bitch or a pussy and all that good stuff. I paid $60 for this game, so I'm gonna use the whole fucking game, whether tryhards and sweaties like it or not. Because for as long as games like Call of Duty exist, there will always be people like me. The rats, the salt miners, the absolute shitheads, causing all of this chaos and rage. And I think that's what makes Call of Duty so beautiful. It brings me back to the Modern Warfare 2 days. I'll finish this video off with my favorite pickup line. Girl, are you Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2? Because your imperfections make you perfect.